Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, very, very good question.
Yeah, this is a very good question.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question.
Oh, that's a great question.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Zanger.
It's a great question.
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. Really good question.
Gosh, this question to me, I hate this question.
That's a loaded question. but okay.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. Let's meet an indie agency. We go to Blighty. Why do they call it Blighty? Can someone explain the Blighty? I could research it, but that's not as fun as listening to it from you. Tell me about Blighty.
It was a slang term. I think it was just something to do
the
with
weather shit.
Oh no, I don't know. I think it's just a slang term that was used by soldiers traveling abroad, and they'd say we're going Blighty or something, and it just sort of stuck. It's weird.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought
nobody used it here.
Right.
So it feels like something from Mary Poppins.
Yeah, it really does.
How do you feel about Dick Van Dyke? Hello, Governor. Hattie, Laura joining us. Uncharted. Boy, oh boy, where to begin with the two of you, especially Laura, who I've known since 2014, 13 or so.
Yeah.
Long.
It has been that long.
God, we're old.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's do this. Before I start waxing sentimental about working for Scottish people at the Drum, let's start with, give us the background of the agency, because y'all are pretty new. So give us the skinny, give us the thumbnail. Who wants to take that hot potato?
We'll both take it. I mean, we're new this year, 2024, our founding year. Really thrilled. Laura and I have known each other for 15 years plus. And there's a strategy one as well. Fern.
Right, Fern's not here. Right.
There's three founders, female founders. I think we're the first fully female-founded ad agency in the UK. But I know there could be some in the regions that we're not aware of. We've all come from big advertising and digital agency background, both kind of like I did Ogilvy at the start of my career, but I spent most of my career in indie world, Karmarama.
Oh Jesus, Karmarama! Oh my God!
Yeah, so we were like the big. I think we went from 10 people up to 300.
Oh, the David Bonneguidi days.
Ben and Dave and Narish, right?
Dave. Yeah.
10 to like 300 people. Did that for years, and then we were acquired by Accenture. So I did Accenture for a while, but indie life is for me.
Yeah, that's delicately put.
And I know Laura from lots of industry stuff. SheSays. Laura, how did we meet first? Probably at a party.
Probably at a party at South by or at something like that. Yeah.
See, America bringing people together. For a change.
At 5 o'clock in the morning.
That tracks. So Laura, give us more of your background. I mean, I could sit here and talk about it, but I won't do it justice.
Yeah, of course. So again, like very mixed background. So I actually started my time in digital agencies. So some of the really cool sort of digital shops that were here in London in the 2000s. I actually did my first website in 1995. Can you believe it? So I'm that old. And then, have been exploring. So at Digitas LBI, which was huge, about 900 people. Then, sort of down to another kind of small indie shop again. And then I ran my own business, Mr. President, I was there for about 8 years. It's still going strong. So it's another brilliant indie agency here in the UK. Left to see what the other side was like and go and work for WPP and Grey and run Grey for about 3.5 years. And then, popped out the other side. I have been president of D&AD. I think
yes, you have.
My best claim to fame. And I'm co-founder of SheSays, which is the largest global network to progress the careers of women in the creative industries, particularly advertising, but also design and technology.
Yeah. We all did our stint in Holdco land. I was in IPG, so there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laura and I and Fern got together at the end of last year, start of this year, spent a lot of time speaking to people and hearing what was going on in the industry. And just we're living in big times of change, obviously, with AI and everything else going on with the network and with agencies and marketing side and people in and out of jobs and just things changing a lot quickly. And Laura came up with the name Uncharted. It was a living in uncharted times.
Of course she did.
But really, we're here for the future. Kind of, we're starting from scratch, building it for the future.
I love it. Yeah.
The vision is really about leading brands into culture with confidence. Really passionate about doing work that's going to land in culture and connect with people in culture.
Right.
And the with confidence bit comes from. Sorry about that. Focus on effectiveness, and we've got really diverse talent pool, which Laura can touch on. Really proud.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
And that we know that drives better effective outcomes. And
right.
We've got a bunch of tech partners. We are not building our own AI or technology, but we've got loads of awesome partners who are happy to recommend for other people. So we've got like data and insight partners, people that are using AI to help do really quick testing and research. And I guess kind of our approach is quite collaborative. We want to partner with people. I heard a great saying, which is the future is about bridges, not islands.
Oh, that's really good. You're not going to credit somebody.
There's a lot of nautical analogies and sort of maths.
Yeah, there are a few agencies over in the UK and Europe that have the nautical theme.
We're an island. I don't know. We can't help it.
That's so good. Now, British term, it's early doors. If every agency has a list of things they do. And Hattie, you mentioned quite a few things. What would you say are the top 3 core strengths that rise to the top?
I mean, I think the most important one of all is that we are not built to do really the business as usual. We don't want to be we don't really want to be, I mean, happy to be agency of record, but don't want to be in that situation where you're building, sort of mega teams to churn out, lots of low value or potentially low value work. We really are built to do the things that are a little bit different, to kind of help you to sail those uncharted waters. And I think when we were speaking to a lot of clients, there is so much fear there about what do I do? All of these new technologies coming on board. All my agencies are telling me different things. I've got less money. I've got less time.
Right.
So we're really there to sort of help them to navigate that new space, because doing the same thing over and over again is just, it is the world of diminishing returns, and we sort of know that. But that fear, I think, sometimes stops clients from stepping into something that's going to be a lot more effective for them, a lot more creatively interesting, a lot more exciting. So that's what we're really set up to do. And because of that, we're not a TV agency or a social agency, but we're helping clients to really discover and explore new things, including, by the way, kind of building brands and launching them into the world from scratch. We need a really diverse team. And so when we were looking at how we were going to build the agency, and sorry, Doug, for like jumping around.
No.
We were looking at how we were building the agency and how we get the most diverse voices into the center, how we get the different specialties that we might need into the center of the business without having to pay 200 people and putting them on things that they're not necessarily best at. What we've done is we've gone web community first. So we've built a really strong community. We have about 50 people in there, all ages, all experiences, from still at university to retired and come back to do a couple of campaigns, from people working, as freelancers to people who aren't really in the industry at all, but have a really interesting skill and maybe a bit of advertising as their side hustle, from all over the world, from all sorts of different backgrounds. And that's what allows us to build really bespoke teams to do whatever it is that is right for the client. And strategically led by Fern, who is just an absolute ledge. I don't know whether that but who really helps to guide into those spaces and make sure they're the right spaces for the client, you know, the right kinds of cultures, the right kinds of audiences,
Right.
all of that stuff.
Because you could be super broad about that, but the specificity matters more than ever at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Just because you can't be you can be broadly appealing, but you have to super serve the niche or the subcultures
Yeah.
to bring it up as opposed to top down.
Yeah, we're not the agency to be doing your 10,000 banner ads a year.
That's going to be the stuff that AI is taking anyway, right? So you know, the factory model that people are trying to move away from,
right?
Because it's dying.
Yeah.
It's hard.
As indicated earlier, the three of us did our time in Holdco land. Let's talk about independence. And we've all been in both. Why is it so important being independent? Hattie, I want to start with you.
For me, it's just such a joy to be doing something with my friends who share the same values and the same vision as you. So you're all on the same page, you're all pointing in the right direction. And, you know, we're a small team, we can do that. We've been founded with a vision and a principle and a proposition, and we're just going for it. Obviously, you know, I've worked in WPP, worked in Accenture. They're vastly complex matrix organizations, or certainly Accenture is. So it's just a very different world, and some people are brilliant in those environments.
Some people love that.
I think, you know, Laura and I are both quite entrepreneurial, moving quite fast. We like doing things which have not been done before. We love like leaning into new, which is why we met at South by Southwest. We're fascinated by what's next.
Right. Laura, anything to add to the indie thing?
No, I mean, having had all of those different experiences, I think there's something certainly in me, as Hattie said, like this entrepreneurial nature, where I feel like I love problem solving. I love solving problems through, you know, in interesting and creative ways. And actually, when you're building a business, that is very difficult as part of that network model, because there are things to do and systems to follow and people to report to. And while that can all be really lovely and cozy and warm, it can also be the opposite of that, and get quite frustrating. So I mean, I love being an indie. I love the feeling of momentum it gives you, and all of those things. It's you know, exploratory. It's fun.
Well, that's exactly right. Hattie, are you from the north? I don't think we.
Midlands, yeah.
This is the Midlands.
Yeah.
Lancaster.
No, that would be the north. I grew up sort of not far from Nottingham, Derby.
Oh, okay, all right.
That area,
all right.
Bit in the middle.
Forest fan?
I probably should be a Derby fan.
Oh, okay.
Nearest,
yeah. Yeah. That's another.
Let's get about that better.
No, because we were talking about Manchester earlier. And
Well, I went to university there, so it was definitely City was the fewer.
I listen. I love London. London was a second home to me, but there's so many interesting things happening around the entirety of the UK.
Oh yeah,
just so interesting. Manchester agencies are super interesting. I mean, and they've built this really interesting culture. I'm totally veering off topic here, and I don't give a shit. But like Manchester in particular, it is interesting because you look at London, that's like New York, right? And then you would look at Manchester and say, and not comparing apples to apples, but Manchester would feel like a Chicago, or, you know, slightly smaller but hugely impactful. Give us a sense of the UK scene. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to get back on track here in a second, but outside of London, what are you seeing? I'm really interested in that.
Yes, I actually spend a lot of time in Manchester still. I'm on the board of Manchester International Festival, Factory International, which is a biannual arts music festival up there. But we also have a bespoke sort of arts venue up there. So I'm up there quite a lot, and the arts theme, sort of the arts scene up there is incredibly buzzy, really energetic. Like you said, lots of really interesting agencies there as well, but lots of makers and creators, lots of really interesting tech. And then, you have these other satellites around the country. So Birmingham is really interesting. They have an incredible design festival every year. You've got Brighton, which has been going strong forever, and a lot of interesting agencies there. And experiential stuff, and Bristol, which is there's a lot of university students there. It's a big uni town. And so again, you get a lot of creativity. They sort of pop up all over the place, which is the beautiful thing, I think, about the country here is there are lots of interesting things happening. We're a very creative nation.
Be that, music is funny because I think about Manchester and its links to music, but also in Wales and Cardiff is really thriving, and it's got a really music scene.
Part Welsh.
Film and TV, and we, production and TV production's been doing, it's been a big growth industry here. But yeah, again, a lot of big organisations have tried to move out of London. Channel 4,
Right. They went to Leeds,
BBC, a great big studio to Salford, just next to Manchester. Also, they did a lot to Bristol and Cardiff. So, the regions for creativity, creativity is really important to the regions. But also there's a lot of great talent out there.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Leeds is another one of those incredible cities with a huge artistic student population.
What's going on? Yeah, so I'm half Italian, and the next one is Welsh. So that's why I was learning Welsh on Duolingo for about a week.
That's hard.
Yeah, I think what I got out of it is my French is not helping any of that, by the way. All right, here's the thing. So we'll probably do a show. We'll do a UK show. So we'll call this a little bit of a diversion. Let me get back on track. You've mentioned a few things about working with brands, but what's the main reason a brand should work with you?
Pat?
That's a really good question. They get us, which is great.
Yeah, true.
Our talent pool is amazing. I think we genuinely have the most diverse team of talent in the UK, which is brilliant. Access to the technology partners we have as well. Really, I talked about our proposition already, but leading brands into culture with confidence. We're really passionate about that. I really think that our model can drive effective work through leading brands into culture. So I think when I'm speaking to brands, what they're struggling with is knowing that the work they're investing in is going to work. And I'm hoping that our model means that they're going to have more confidence that that work is going to work. Ultimately, it's about effectiveness.
And I think then from a creative point of view, it's very much because we don't come try to sell you the thing that we make, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
so
interesting.
We're not going to sell you a 60-second TV ad when you've only bought the media for 20s, just because that's what we do and have always done. Where we're kind of free of that baggage, so we're free to make the thing that is creatively right for what you have. And actually a few clients have said to me, we're using the agency for the other stuff, but they just keep on coming back with the same kinds of answers, even though the problem is a different problem. So I think that freedom for the clients to explore is another reason to come to us. And we've had so much experience making things that are genuinely different and incredibly effective.
We've done quite a few firsts probably between us.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest first that you've
probably
done?
The one we're doing at the moment.
You can't say it. Don't jinx it.
But it'll be out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and
don't
it's
jinx
literally
we'll tell you or you'll see it. But
yeah, but it's literally kind of sliding into the world of like toxic health and safety hazard, toxic substance hazard issues, trying to figure out how to do it.
Oh, it's a US campaign.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
But probably historically, I mean, things like Laura, your Pringles work, where you put the non-playing character into gaming and things like that. I think
absolutely. I think all of that stuff with Pringles, kind of taking them over the 3.5 years I was at Grey, from really dull like say what you see,
right?
Quite producty ads.
Eating the moment of consumption,
the tip, and something amazing happens. That stuff is still important, but helping Pringles to change the model to allow them to do more innovative work and find new audiences, which allowed us to gaming, which allowed us to do some incredible stuff. So you still, they still had that other stuff still happened, We didn't like throw it all in the bin. That stuff is important for markets and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. But yeah, taking an NPC out of a game for real, putting it back in the game for real as a different kind of NPC 2 weeks later. And in the meantime, the Frank the zombie from the zombie Western, traveling all around the world. Well, being a virtual influencer and going back to the game, not eating humans because he's eating Pringles. Well, that was, super fun and really effective. It won the Effie last year.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
yeah.
Effie's a good one. You've mentioned talent several times. Why should talent be putting y'all on their list, especially with the community that you're building?
Because again, we have an incredible and really long reputation for working with really interesting people and for allowing their voices to thrive. I think the three of us have always invested in the potential of really interesting talent rather than kind of hanging our hats up on the same old. And we've all got really good reputation for building that inclusive culture. So I think it's a great place to work. I think the other thing is you're not going to be doing your 10,000 banner ads. You're going to be doing something genuinely interesting,
right?
Possibly a bit weird, possibly not, possibly really, really serious, possibly actually, like a big transformative through line campaign that because that's what the client wants. But it's always going to be something that has creative and cultural value, because that is the work that we are set up to deliver. You're not going to be making, I don't mean to be rude, but you're not going to be making shit to add to the world of shit.
It's all right.
We're trying to, there's a lot of people out there that are freelancing or part-time or got really interesting side hustles or whatever it might be. But they can be quite isolated and working at home alone, that kind of thing. And so us having a community, which is quite an active community, we're all getting together next week. We're going to do a session together at Clear Channel and going to post a session, and we're going to
fun.
And we'll go for some drinks. And so it's a bit of there's a bit of training, there's a bit of learning, a bit of sharing. We're helping each other with each other's projects. Yeah. We've got like an online community, some socials. There's some other things we can add to the community of people that may not be coming into the office every day.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I'm loving actually just seeing the way that the community is helping each other, as Hattie said. So, we were helping, I was on a call with a streaming platform today, introducing them to someone in our crew who is an incredible director, talking about, potentially the potential for funding
cool.
for him, in the future. But there are lots of fantastic introductions happening, lots of offers of support, lots of, well, should I just have a little bit of a look at that and make it better? And that's the spirit that I remember when I was at all of these incredible agencies at the top of their game, when I first moved from Australia to London. There's that feeling of you'd roll your sleeves up and you'd get involved in each other's work to make it better. It was that real positivity.
Yep. That's the thing. Yeah. Final question, a little bit of a thought experiment. Hattie, I'm starting with you. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Whether they are a current client or not, who's a CMO or marketer you want to say hi to?
What, live now?
You got to tell me. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm kind of out there trying to speak to everybody.
But like,
who I found it hard to get hold of. I think I thought, being a female-founded agency, we've been so involved in so many women's gender issues and campaigning in the sector around women's rights and gender equality, that I thought I'd find it easier to get into the Unstereotype Alliance brands. And they're just huge organizations, the really, really big global brands. And so some of it, I found it quite surprising how hard that's been to kind of get through and get in. So any of the Unstereotype Alliance brands that are out there, they're asking agencies to put diverse people on the work. Well, we're here. We've got that diverse team. We're ready to go. Call me.
Right. Laura?
So I will refrain from saying hello to people, the CMOs that I love, and I say hello to all the time, because there are some brilliant humans out there who I adore. But I would say I really enjoy working on booze brands. It is one of the most fun categories. You can do really brilliant work, and we've had so much experience in working on that, working with alcohol brands globally, understanding all the regulations. Like, again, we feel like it's a font of knowledge that someone needs to tap into, and make some brilliant work. So I would say, hey, Diageo, I'm looking forward to meeting you, because I think your sector is one of the most interesting and innovative there is.
You've got Constellation, you've got
We like a drink and we like a socialize. So
AB InBev.
We're hoping to organize actually an event that's open to all in the industry, particularly anyone that's freelancing, working with us or not. We're going to try for 2 a year, like a couple of seasonal events where we take over a pub in central London, and kind of everyone's welcome to come along.
Take over my local when I was at uni in 1990 at UCL, the Pembroke up in Primrose Hill.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to do it in central London. Everybody says you have to do it in Soho. You don't.
Yeah, I know, but post-COVID, people don't travel as far, do they?
It's Camden. It's not like you're traveling to Aberdeen.
Yeah, but Primrose Hill.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's not that far. Get a walk in. The Northern Line. It's South Farm. You're walking 300 meters.
Yeah, I know. Doug, is that the pub that was who used to be in there? Like Kate Moss and everyone used to be in there in the 90s.
We didn't know, and that's the thing. We didn't know that it was Kate Winslet.
Oh, it's Kate Winslet.
Yeah, Kate Winslet. I think Kate Moss might have been in there.
Yeah.
We didn't know that. Can I tell you a quick story though about Primrose Hill? Yeah. So was there last year. And what I love about London is there are a lot of famous people who just, knock about, and everybody leaves them alone. It's like New York, right? Where, everyone's kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. And so it was November. And I'm a dog guy. I'm a animal guy. So mainly dogs and horses. Love cats. I'm allergic to all three, but I don't care. There's pills for them. And so I'm walking around and I see a King Charles Cavalier and the owner walking her. I said, oh, our neighbors, our friends have a King Charles Cavalier, blah, 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 blah. And the woman had sunglasses on. And so just start chatting. I'm petting the dog, just chatting. She's like, where are you from? So Portland, Northwest. What are you doing here? Oh, work. What do you do? Advertising. Blah, blah. And I'm listening to her and I'm like, God, her voice sounds so familiar. And her husband really isn't saying much. He's just smiling at me. And as you recall, I worked for Stillwell Partners. They run the Advertising Week events, and one of which was Advertising Week Europe. And I was in London quite a bit for that. So I was like, God, I think I worked with her back in like 2013 or 2014 or something like that. And the dog's name is Etta. And so I'm walking away, walking back to the flat, and I stop and I go, oh. So I get on, I'm like, okay, Etta, King Charles Cavalier, celebrity. It was Emily Mortimer.
Oh, really?
Could not have been any nicer. Could not, like legit. It was just, and so I sent her a note on Instagram. It was like, really nice meeting you. Thank you for letting me pet your dog. But she was just
great story.
Lovely. Just absolutely. She's just absolutely awesome. And so that was a great experience. And that's the thing about London, especially up there. You stand the chance of running into one of the actors in Emily Mortimer, who I just adore and admire. So there you go.
Yeah.
So Pembroke Castle it is. All right. Listen, this is great. And I think it definitely, this is such a great way into it. And I talk a lot about this. I talk a lot about confidence. You talk a lot about confidence. There is a lot to that. And we'll always explore that space, because it is really, really important, not simply for agencies to have that confidence, but we stand this great chance to build confidence for clients and for brands, which they may say they have, but really when you start peeling it back, That's a service that we provide that people don't necessarily think about, which is confidence.
Yeah.
And we think so much in output, we think less about some of the things around it. But I love the fact that confidence is one of your key tenets. So, Hattie, lovely to spend time with you.
I'm
We'll
just
get to
gonna
know each
talk
other.
about confidence. I'll have to
Oh,
show
yeah.
you my t-shirt. So
Set out without fear. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Yep, that's our mantra.
Yep. I love it. I love it. And Laura, we've known each other forever. We're great friends. Love you dearly. Thank you so much for joining us. We wish you both and Fern the very best.
Thank you.
Zach.